The ultimatum, the observation deck of the diplomatic vessel. Tara's voice offered a breathtaking view of the Andromeda Gateway, but Dr. Sarah Chen barely noticed the swirling cosmic phenomenon outside. Her dark eyes were fixed on the massive Zephyrian dreadnought that had been shadowing their ship for the past 6 hours. The alien vessel was a testament to advanced technology. Its crystalline hull shifted through the electromagnetic spectrum like liquid rainbow, and energy tendrils that defied conventional physics danced around its edges. "They're beautiful, aren't they?" Captain Marcus Torres said as he joined her at the viewport. The weathered military officer had served on the frontier for 20 years, but even he seemed awed by the alien ship's majesty. Sarah nodded grimly. "Beautiful and terrifying. Their technology is at least 3 centuries ahead of ours, Marcus, maybe more." The captain's jaw tightened. "Makes you wonder why they want to talk to us at all." Before Sarah could respond, the ship's communication system crackled to life. The voice that emerged was melodic, yet alien, with harmonics that made human teeth ache. "Humans of the vessel Terra's voice, you will accompany us to the Convergence Station. High Arbiter Kexthul wishes to address your species." Captain Torres moved to the communication panel. "This is Captain Torres of the Earth Coalition. We accept your invitation and thank you for the opportunity to establish diplomatic relations." A sound that might have been laughter filtered through the speakers. "Diplomatic relations, how charmingly primitive. Follow our navigation beacon, humans. Do not deviate from the prescribed course." The connection ended abruptly, leaving Sarah and Marcus in uncomfortable silence. Through the viewport, they watched as the Zephyrian ship began moving toward a structure that defied description. The Convergence Station appeared to be constructed from crystallized starlight itself, stretching across several kilometers of space in impossible geometric patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Primitive," Sarah muttered, running her fingers through her black hair. "After everything we've accomplished, they still see us as primitive." Marcus placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Maybe it's better that way. Sometimes being underestimated is an advantage." 2 hours later, they stood in the reception chamber of the Convergence Station. The room was vast beyond comprehension, with walls that seemed to extend infinitely upward and downward. Floating platforms of various sizes drifted through the space, each one hosting different alien species. Sarah counted at least 15 different civilizations, all waiting in respectful silence. The Zephyrians themselves were magnificent beings. Standing nearly 3 meters tall, they possessed an ethereal quality that made them appear almost translucent. Their skin shimmered with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed in complex rhythms, and their large, multifaceted eyes seemed to contain miniature galaxies. When they moved, reality itself seemed to bend slightly around them. High Arbiter Kexthul materialized on a platform directly in front of the humans. The being's presence was overwhelming. Sarah felt as though she was standing before a living star. When Kexthul spoke, the words formed directly in their minds rather than reaching their ears. "Humans of the 3rd planet of the Sol system," the Arbiter began, "your species has been observed for the equivalent of your 50 Earth years. The Zephyrian Empire has cataloged your technological development, social structures, and military capabilities." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady despite the circumstances. "We're honored by your attention, High Arbiter. Humanity hopes to join the galactic community as equals and contribute to the betterment of all species." The chamber filled with what Sarah realized was laughter from the assembled aliens. The sound was like crystal wind chimes in a hurricane. Kexthul's patterns pulsed in what appeared to be amusement. "Equals?" The Arbiter's mental voice carried overtones of condescension. "Child species, you have barely mastered chemical propulsion. Your fastest vessels require decades to travel between nearby star systems. Your computers are electronic rather than quantum. Your energy sources are fusion-based, and your understanding of spacetime is laughably limited." Captain Torres felt his hands clench into fists, but he kept his expression neutral. "Perhaps we have more to offer than you realize." "Oh, but we realize exactly what you have to offer," Kexthul replied. "Your species possesses certain useful qualities. You breed rapidly, adapt quickly to hostile environments, and show remarkable persistence in the face of adversity. These traits make you excellent laborers. The words hit Sarah like a physical blow. Laborers? Indeed. The Zephyrian Empire has 47 member civilizations, each contributing their unique strengths to our collective prosperity. The Kethmori provide computational power through their hive mind consciousness. The Vraxi contribute their matter manipulation abilities. The Shendai offer their mastery of temporal mechanics. Kexthul paused, patterns shifting to deeper hues. Humans will contribute their capacity for physical labor and their remarkable ability to survive in hostile conditions. And if we refuse? Marcus asked, though he already suspected the answer. The Arbiter's form seemed to grow more solid, more threatening. Then your species will be classified as a threat to galactic stability and dealt with accordingly. Your homeworld will be quarantined, your colonies evacuated, and your technology restricted to prevent interference with more advanced civilizations. Sarah felt something cold settle in her stomach. You're talking about slavery? We prefer the term productive integration, Kexthul replied smoothly. Your species will be well treated, provided with adequate food and shelter, and allowed to reproduce within sustainable parameters. Many of your people will find purpose in supporting the great works of the Empire. Around the chamber, representatives of the other species watched with expressions ranging from sympathy to indifference. Sarah realized that this conversation had played out many times before with dozens of other civilizations. The Zephyrian Empire didn't negotiate, they dictated terms. How long do we have to consider your generous offer? Captain Torres asked. 72 of your hours, Kexthul replied. Return to your homeworld, consult with your leaders, and provide your answer. A Zephyrian fleet will arrive at the edge of your solar system to receive your response. As they were escorted back to their ship, Sarah's mind raced. She had spent years studying alien technology, trying to understand how humanity might bridge the gap between their capabilities and those of advanced civilizations. Now she realized that all her research, all her hopes for peaceful integration, had been naive fantasies. Back aboard the Terra's Voice, Sarah immediately activated the ship's most secure communication array. The quantum encrypted signal would take hours to reach Earth, but she had to try. This is Dr. Chen broadcasting on Project Prometheus frequency, she said into the recorder. Authorization code Sierra 7 Alpha 9. Marcus, are you sure this channel is secure? Captain Torres nodded from the pilot's seat. The Zephyrians might be advanced, but this is our newest encryption. It'll take them time to crack it if they even bother. Sarah took a deep breath. Elena, if you're receiving this, we need to activate Protocol 7 immediately. The diplomatic mission has failed. We have 72 hours before they arrive at Earth's doorstep. She paused, thinking about her sister back on Earth. Dr. Elena Chen was the head of theoretical physics at the Luna Research Station, and more importantly, she was the only person who knew about Sarah's real mission. While everyone else believed, Sarah was Earth's chief xenobiologist on a diplomatic mission. She was actually the courier for humanity's most classified project. The Zephyrians aren't interested in diplomacy, Sarah continued. They want to enslave our entire species. Tell the Council that everything we feared about first contact has come true. We're not dealing with benevolent space explorers. We're facing a galactic empire that sees us as nothing more than useful animals. Captain Torres activated the ship's engines, setting course for Earth. Sarah, what's Protocol 7? She turned to look at him, her expression grim. Something we hoped we'd never have to use. Marcus, what I'm about to tell you is classified, at the highest levels. For the past 10 years, Earth's best scientists have been working on a project based on a simple premise. What if the galaxy's advanced civilizations were hostile? Go on. We've been developing technology that breaks the established rules of physics. Not advanced technology, impossible technology. Things that shouldn't work according to known science. Sarah moved to a secure panel and entered a long authorization code. A hidden compartment opened, revealing a device no larger than a smartphone. This is a prototype of something we call the paradox drive. Marcus stared at the innocuous-looking device. What does it do? It does something that every physicist in the galaxy will tell you is impossible, Sarah replied, her voice filled with both pride and terror. It creates localized violations of causality. Past, present, and future become negotiable. Before Marcus could respond, the ship's sensors detected something that made his blood run cold. 3 more Zephyrian vessels had appeared from nowhere, surrounding the Terra's voice in a perfect triangular formation. They're jamming our communications, Marcus reported, and they're charging weapons. Kexthal's voice filled the bridge. Humans, you will surrender your vessel for inspection. We have detected unauthorized technology aboard your ship. Sarah looked at the paradox drive in her hands, then at Marcus. They underestimated us once. They think because our technology appears primitive, we can't surprise them. Can that thing get us home? Marcus asked. Sarah smiled grimly. It can do something much better than that. She activated the device. It can make sure we were never here in the first place. The last thing Marcus saw before reality twisted around them was the look of absolute shock on High Arbiter Kexathul's face as the Terra's voice simply ceased to exist in the present moment. The impossible response, Dr. Elena Chen stood in the quantum laboratory buried 3 kilometers beneath the Swiss Alps, watching her sister's message play for the 3rd time. The holographic display showed Sarah's tired face, delivering news that would change everything humanity thought it knew about its place in the universe. 72 hours, Elena murmured to herself. Around her, the most brilliant minds on Earth worked frantically at terminals that hummed with impossible energies. The Paradox Research Facility had been humanity's deepest secret for a decade, a place where the laws of physics came to die. Dr. Rashid Okafor, the team's lead quantum engineer, looked up from his calculations. Elena, if Sarah's report is accurate, we're dealing with a civilization that has mastered conventional physics to an extraordinary degree, but that might actually work in our favor. Elena nodded, her mind already racing through possibilities. They'll expect us to fight with the same physics they understand. Nuclear weapons, kinetic projectiles, maybe some basic energy weapons. They won't expect us to tear holes in reality itself. The facility's main screen flickered to life, showing a map of the solar system. Red dots marked the positions of human colonies: Mars, the Luna stations, the asteroid mining operations, and the research outposts in the outer system. Blue dots showed the locations of Earth's conventional defense fleets. Against a Zephyrian invasion force, those fleets would last maybe minutes. Status report, Elena commanded. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the team's specialist in temporal mechanics, stood up from her workstation. The Paradox Drive network is ready for deployment. We have 17 operational units, each one capable of creating localized causality bubbles approximately 1 kilometer in diameter. And the impossibility cannon? Elena asked. Dr. Okafor grinned despite the dire circumstances. That's the beautiful part. We don't need to aim it at their ships. We just need to aim it at the space where their ships will be. Past tense. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Even after 10 years of working with impossible physics, the implications of their weapons still disturbed her. What about the collateral effects? Minimal, Dr. Tanaka replied. The causality violations are localized and temporary. Reality snaps back to normal within hours, though the targets caught in the effect radius, well, they never existed in the first place. Before Elena could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. The main screen switched to show incoming signals from Earth's deep space monitoring stations. Massive energy signatures had just appeared at the edge of the solar system, far larger than anything in humanity's experience. They're early, Elena breathed. Show me. The display zoomed out to show the outer reaches of the solar system. Our fleet of Zephyrian vessels had materialized near Pluto's orbit, their crystalline hulls gleaming like captured stars. Elena counted at least 50 ships, ranging from sleek destroyers to massive dreadnoughts that dwarfed Earth's largest space stations. My God, Dr. Okafor whispered. How do we fight something like that? Elena's expression hardened. We don't fight them. We make them never have been here at all. The facility's communication system crackled to life with an incoming signal from the Zephyrian fleet. High Arbiter Kexthul's mental presence pressed against the minds of everyone in the facility, causing several technicians to cry out in pain. Humans of the Sol system. The Arbiter's voice resonated through the complex. We have come to receive your answer to our generous offer. You have 10 of your minutes to respond before we begin pacification protocols. Elena stepped forward, activating the facility's most powerful transmitter. This is Dr. Elena Chen, speaking for the Earth Coalition. We have considered your offer carefully. And your answer? Kexthul's mental voice carried overtones of amusement and condescension. Elena looked around at her team, brilliant scientists who had spent their careers pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Our answer is that you have made a fundamental error in your calculations. Explain. You've been watching us for 50 years, studying our technology, measuring our capabilities, but you've been measuring the wrong things. Elena's voice grew stronger. You see fusion power and think we're primitive. You see chemical rockets and assume we're limited. You observe our electronics and conclude we're centuries behind you. Because you are, Kexthul replied, though Elena detected a hint of uncertainty. In the mental voice, no, Elena said quietly. Because we let you see only what we wanted you to see. You've been watching humanity's public face while we've been privately working on something much more interesting. She gestured to Dr. Okafor, who began initializing the Paradox Drive network. Throughout the solar system, 17 carefully hidden devices began charging with energies that violated the fundamental laws of physics. What are you attempting to do? Kexthul demanded, and for the first time Elena heard something like concern in the Arbiter's voice. We're going to show you what happens when a species learns to survive by breaking the rules, Elena replied. You see, when you've spent your entire evolutionary history on a planet that tries to kill you in every imaginable way, you develop a very particular set of skills. You learn that the impossible is just another obstacle to overcome. The Zephyrian fleet began moving toward Earth, their weapons charging with energies that could crack continents. But Elena wasn't watching them. She was watching the readouts from the Paradox Drive network as it reached full operational capacity. Dr. Chen, Kexthul's mental voice now carried clear threat. You will cease whatever you are attempting immediately. Your primitive technology cannot possibly threaten vessels that have mastered the fundamental forces of the universe. Elena smiled coldly. You're absolutely right. Our technology can't threaten you. But here's the thing about humans. When we can't do something the normal way, we find an abnormal way. She turned to Dr. Tanaka. Yuki, show our guests what impossible looks like. Dr. Tanaka's fingers danced across her control interface. Paradox Drive network is online, targeting the Zephyrian fleet with temporal displacement field. Initiating causality violation in 3, 2, 1. Space around the Zephyrian fleet began to twist in ways that defied description. The crystalline ships, which had seemed so majestic and invincible, suddenly appeared uncertain, their edges blurring as they tried to exist in multiple time streams simultaneously. What have you done? Kexthul's mental scream was filled with something Elena had never expected to hear from the proud Arbiter. Fear. We've created a localized bubble where cause and effect work differently, Elena explained calmly. Inside that bubble, your fleet never arrived in our solar system. The past is being rewritten and your ships are being edited out of history. On the display, the Zephyrian vessels began to fade like morning mist. The massive dreadnoughts, which had seemed capable of destroying planets, became transparent and then vanished entirely. Within minutes, the solar system's outer reaches were empty of alien ships, but Elena wasn't finished. Dr. Okafor, activate the impossibility cannon. Target the Andromeda Gateway. Elena, Dr. Okafor said quietly, if we collapse their primary travel nexus, will strand every Zephyrian ship in this galaxy. I know, Elena replied. Sometimes when someone threatens your family, you have to make sure they can never threaten anyone again. The impossibility cannon fired. Not a beam of energy, but a weapon that attacked the very concept of the target's existence. The Andromeda Gateway, that magnificent structure of crystallized starlight, simply stopped being. Every Zephyrian ship that had relied on the gateway for faster-than-light travel suddenly found themselves trapped in normal space, light years from home. High Arbiter Kexthul's mental voice reached across the void one final time, now filled with desperate confusion. This is impossible. The fundamental laws of physics cannot be violated. Elena's response was broadcast across all frequencies, ensuring that every surviving Zephyrian could hear it. High Arbiter, you've made the classic mistake of assuming that your understanding of physics is complete. Humans have a saying, the difficult we do immediately, the impossible takes a little longer. She paused, then added with quiet satisfaction, consider this humanity's formal response to your offer. We respectfully decline. The communication ended, leaving the Paradox research facility in stunned silence. Around the room, scientists and engineers stared at their instruments, barely believing what they had accomplished. In the span of an hour, they had not only repelled an invasion but had effectively ended the Zephyrian Empire's expansion across the galaxy. Dr. Tanaka was the first to speak. Elena, what happens now? Elena looked at the empty display showing their solar system, now peaceful and secure. Now we wait. Word will spread throughout the galaxy about what happened here. Other civilizations will hear that humanity defeated the Zephyrian Empire using impossible technology. And then? Dr. Okafor asked. Elena smiled, though it didn't reach her eyes. Then we find out who else in this galaxy thinks humans look like good laborers, because the next time someone shows up talking about enslaving, our species will be ready for them too. As reports began flooding in from observation stations throughout the solar system, confirming that the threat had been neutralized, Elena couldn't help but think about her sister Sarah, still somewhere in space aboard the Terra's Voice. The Paradox drive had brought them home safely, but the experience had changed them both forever. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible, by proving that sometimes the most primitive species could be the most dangerous. They had broken the laws of physics not through advanced understanding, but through desperate innovation born of the simple human refusal to accept defeat. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.